Hey you guys, I'm going live right now to show you how I use apps to create fashion illustrations. So it doesn't have to be fashion illustration. It could also just be a face. I'm going to be working on a face. What I was trying to do here is show you my screensaver here is a watercolor sketch, but I can't zoom it or anything. But what I'm going to be doing now is creating a sketch on my iPad, and I'm going to ask you too, if you want, before I start, I'll leave it open to see if anyone comes in, whether you would like to see me work in watercolor. Like I'm working digitally, but I could use digital watercolors, or I could do like a vector drawing thing, which is like smoother and slicker. Okay, you know what? I'm feeling the call to work watercolory. So I'm opening Sketches app. I usually call it Tayasui Sketches. Hang on. It's a cool app. Look, it has all these sketchbooks in it. And I could open a sketch book. Right, and like here's a watercolor sketch group I did that's on my YouTube channel, YouTube Laura Volpentesta. Hey ZZ, how you doing? If I just pinch, it'll close up. I'm going to open an, oh, here's another beautiful one. Now, this is the kind of vibe I think I want to go for today. Hi, Eva. See this watercolor effect? Okay, we're counting down now to like 45 days till Carnaval in Brazil. So I'm going to be doing my annual hobby is creating fashion illustrations from carnival costume and stuff. So today I'm going to work from a brand called Can Can or Can Can. You know, like the dance, Can Can accessories. And we're going to, I'm going to sketch up this beautiful headdress, floral headdress with tassels. But the point is, I'm going to show you how I use this app to create illustrations. Actually, I wanted my tools to be on the left. You see that? Okay. I'm a lefty, by the way. I'm using an Apple Pencil, but you do not have to have an iPad Pro or Apple Pencil. I use this because, you know, it's huge. So I love that the iPad Pro is huge. And the pencil, you know, I could take it or leave it. I want you to know that if you do start using it, you may hate it at first because, you know, it's very slippery. I'm not slippery. For me, this is like ice skating. You know, I don't want slippery when I'm working necessarily. So you got to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to trust what you feel. I found that working with my finger was the best way. Let me pick a color you can see. Here's how I pick colors on this app. And I'm creating this video today sponsored by my About Faces online course, which is open now. Actually, all of my courses are open. Oh, it says it's not set to finger drawing. I guess there's a setting for that now. So let me find that setting. Finger drawing. All right, I got to X this. Where's the X? How do I get rid of this? Oh, there it is. There's a stylus button, and there's a finger. It says nothing. So I could put as a tool without pressure if I want. And that means that now I can draw with my finger as well. Yeah? And with my pencil. Okay, so drawing with your finger. Join her class now. You're the best. Hey, Nikki. That reminds me, I'm going to start drawing. You're the best. You're awesome. You guys follow Nikki, Ms. Nikki Fitness. She has an incredible podcast called Commit to Change. Is that right? Is it Commit to Change? And I'm on one of her interviews. Okay, which app do I use? So Yayagram, if you're still here, I didn't see that earlier. I use a bunch of different apps for different reasons. Commit to Change with the number 2, not the letter 2. It's a wonderful podcast, inspiring and creative. That there are several apps I recommend. And so in my About Faces course, I'll teach at least 3. But there's like a whole bunch out there, but there are some that I really discourage you to start learning with, and others I encourage, because once you're really comfortable, you might try various apps, but some apps are terrible to learn on. Particularly, I gotta say, there's this one app called Procreate. It's an incredible, wonderful, fabulous app, and people love it, but guess what? It's not the app you want to learn drawing on. No. because it's just got too much going on. Do you see this app? Do you see how these are all my tools? That's it. It's so straightforward. Like, this is the app that changed my life. This is the app that made it possible for me to learn to do this stuff. So now I'm getting tempted to teach the app. I'm going to do this face demonstration today, but what I'll tell you right now, well, you'll see while I'm working, but the tools I have are pencil, ink pen, marker, which can go from thin to thick to chisel tip or round, brush tip pen, super cool. Yeah. Sorry, Yaya. I don't know if they still call it, originally it was called Tayasui Sketches. And then occasionally it's called Sketches app. Oh, I do teach it in a course. Yes. So my course called About Faces. It's also called Digital Drawing. It's in my Instagram bio today. And through the end of January, it's open for enrollment. Like, the course will be open with lifetime access, and I'll be checking in it all year working with students. But the enrollment period ends at the end of the month. Yes, Tayasui Sketches. But when I opened the app today, it just said Sketches Zen. So when you look it up in the App Store, it might say Sketches app. In fact, I would look it up now. Actually, I can, but I already own it, so that makes it a little tricky. Because I would like people to know how to find it, and I do think they might have taken the name Tayasui off because maybe that was making it hard for some people. So I'm just going to, let's check this out. I'm going to search for the name Sketches and see what shows up. Yep, it's still called Tayasui Sketches. Beautiful drawing tools, and ain't that the truth? So I totally recommend it. And I'm not using it right now. Do you see how it says I'm not using it? It says I don't have it downloaded because I'm using Sketches Pro, which is a whopping, $4.99. Oh my God, I didn't know they had a school app. Okay, they have all kinds of stuff. So I love Tayasui Sketches, and I'll tell you why. Thanks for stopping by, Ms. Nikki. Miss Nikki, love you. Good luck to you too, beautiful. We'll be in touch. We got stuff to do together. So I am on, and Nikki's getting local. She's moving local, which I can't wait. Okay. Then we have, there's like a crayon tool. So I'm showing you, I'm pointing now, but I'm not actually showing you the tools. Acrylic paint, watercolor, airbrush, nib pen, and then this is like, let me just show you how this works. If you chose this tool, you can make shapes and fill them with tone. Pretty awesome. And look at the transparency. So cool. Now, why are they transparent? Well, okay, now I'm changing the subject, right? Because of the opacity setting. So any app you use, you get sliders over here on the right. How opaque or sheer is the, so look, I could make it more sheer now. Or I could make it, I don't think this, oh yeah, well no, this one doesn't go fully opaque. And this one looks watercolory. And then there's the size. Well, that's weird. I don't think size works for the cutout. Yeah, it doesn't apply to this tool, but it applies to all the other tools. Okay, and then we have an eraser tool. You can make that eraser any size you want as well. Yeah. If you double tap the eraser, everything will disappear on the whole layer. There's a stomp tool, which is super cool. So if you draw with a pencil, well, let me make my pencil darker so you can see it. You can blend your pencil, and everybody knows I'm super into that effect. Yeah, blended shading and smudging. Oh, I gotta sneeze, I'm so sick. Excuse me. So let's get into some fashion illustration. That's just an overview of the reason why I love this app is because when I use it, I get to choose my paper. So if you click up here on the right corner, you get to choose layers. If you go to the base layer, they're always updating these apps, right? Let's say I push erase. It's going to give me new paper options. And see how this says grain, no grain, fine grain, le grand bloc, and watercolor. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? What I didn't realize was they have updated the app again. So there's new papers. Oh my gosh. There's watercolor, recycled, cardboard, wood, watercolor 2 small grain. Oh my gosh, you guys, like 5 of those are new. So now, now I'm overwhelmed. I can also pick a color for my paper, and I can also pick canvas. Okay, I'm gonna try this watercolor 2. It's called watercolor -2. I've never used it before, but if I were to zoom in, you would see, so why don't I zoom in? I want you to see that this watercolor, hang on, has texture. Wait, let me pick a different. I want you to see, because this is the reason I love Tayasui. Okay, it's very organic looking. The paper is textural, everything's textural. Of all the other apps I've used for digital illustration, none of them feel as textural and realistic as Tayasui. Okay, now I'm gonna start sketching the face, just to give you a clue about how I would do fashion illustration. Based on what I've been teaching at Parsons for 20 years in my private practice. I want to talk to you about how I would use the tools on my iPad to mimic the way I usually would work anyway. So I'm choosing a pencil tool. I'm working with it black. I like it to be pretty sensitive and pretty big too. And I do an under sketch when I work. So in this app in the class, hi Ange.
Hi, sorry, just taking the time.
Thank you. I'm going to teach you how several of my favorite apps for learning work and what their main tools are that I use. But I'm also at the same time going to be teaching how to draw heads / faces / features faces. So for the face I'm drawing now, I'm working from a photo, and I recommend you work from photos too. And I start with like an egg shape. And then I place the eyes. And eyes are, so I find the top of the head and the bottom of the head. And I'm going to line, her eyes are like in the center. Of course, I'm looking at a photo, so that helps. And then there's also this center line in the middle that the nose is built on, and the mouth. And actually, I usually teach this more thoroughly. In fact, I did a live stream that's on my YouTube channel just the other day using pencil, not computer, where I get really in depth about this. But today, since I have to go to work in a little while and I'm not feeling well, I just took on way too many jobs for not enough pay, and it's like wearing me down. So I'm really hoping that this January launch will allow me to keep creating courses and working with students in my own programs and coaching, and not have to have 100 part-time jobs. Here we go. This is a mouth. This is a nostril. You know, one woman can only do so much, right? One person, one human. Here we go. I still believe that everyone is meant to use their gifts, and actually that our greatest gift is our being, our presence, our humanity, our light. But I have a lot of gifts that I feel like I'm supposed to be using, and I need like a sign or something. Like, what am I supposed to be? All right, so here's, and so I usually teach the faces thing, and right now I think I'm just going to let you like watch the process and answer your questions if you have any comments or questions along the way while I just use. So you'll notice I'm going to focus more today on the supplies. So I've been using the pencil this whole time. And pencil allows me to draw softly, no harsh lines, so that I can softly like watch my process unfold and let things lightly build up on the page without feeling any sense of perfection, and that my commitment is soft, if that makes sense. Like, I'm committing to my lines, but not in a harsh way, in a very light way, so that I don't plan to erase anything every line will stay, but they're so soft that they can be drawn over and stuff like that. For me, it's like the approach and the process is everything. It's like, how do we think about art? How forgiving can it be? How process oriented can it be? How much of a pleasurable journey can it be? Things like that. And what you do is it's just like your life. You look, hi Mei Ling, you get feedback from yourself. You know, how do I feel about this sketch? Let me just make sure, oh gosh, guys, sorry, I just wanted to make sure my brightness, they changed this. Okay, I wanted to make sure my brightness was all the way on. Sorry, guys, we're back. So then, I wanted to kind of feel out where is her chin as a little sphere here. And this model, this is a picture from Can Accessories in, I think they're in Rio, in Brazil, because Carnival is coming. Can Accessories. Just want to give credit to the photo. And this is a beautiful indigenous model, Brazilian. So she has this incredible, like, square jaw. It's really beautiful. I want to capture that. And here's her chin. And then I always find it interesting to capture the line up the side of the face. This is always a little bit tricky. You know, how close is the edge of the face to all the features that we see. She's got bangs, and she's got this tremendous headdress on, which was the whole point, and I just realized that I don't think I left room. See that? My canvas in Tayasui Sketches, your canvas has a limited size, and her headdress goes like all the way up to here. Oh well, that's okay, because you know what? This is like a limited time video today anyway. But oh man, I forgot which app I was using. So it's okay, because guess what else? There's something called warming up. And I'm really very much right now warming up. Just getting comfortable. And remember what I said to you guys too, if you don't have an Apple Pencil, or if you don't like the Apple Pencil, whatever you feel, I want you to stay with what you feel. You can use your finger. Lorena. Hola, Lorena.
I'll be outside.
Yeah, you can play outside? It's freezing. So bangs are kind of going this way. Oh, she's hoverboarding. I can hear it. Do you guys know I fell off the hoverboard? Like the second time I got on it and landed flat on my you-know-what. And oh my gosh, I was so scared. I thought I was going to be like paralyzed for life. But I wasn't. All right. So here we go. Okay. So now I've got my face, and I'm going to start plotting out the flowers. And you know what, guys? I got the inspiration to approach this in a certain way. So just so you know, and everyone has their own approaches, but I never know what I'm doing. Unless I'm working for someone and I have to do something, I usually, I really don't know what I'm doing until I'm doing it. So it just occurred to me a little while ago that I'm gonna, how I want to approach this. So I'm gonna pull up the watercolor brush. You see that? And there are a lot of different brushes here. So you can sample them to see how they behave. Wow, that one was huge. I like the organic feel of it, but I want it to be smaller. Let's try it again. I just want to compare it to another tip and decide which one I want to use. I like the more uneven one. Okay, so I'm going to go back. That's this one. And I'm going to undo my samples. Like the 2-finger swipe to the left that you see me doing is the undo feature. See that? Okay. And now I can start filling in some color stuff. I usually do skin first. That's like my thing. I'm totally into that. So why don't I choose the skin tone? She has a very warm skin tone. I think if I use this light color, I can layer it up as I want to get heavier. So I think I'm going to go with that. And I'm looking at a photo. Remember, you guys can't see the photo I'm looking at. So see how I can keep, every time I lift my pencil and put it back down, the color will get deeper. So see how light it is right now? Let me just fill this all in light. I'm going to avoid her eyes and her teeth because I want them to stay whiter. But every time I come back, they can get darker. And so I can use that to capture some of the shadows that I see. Sometimes I might want to be smaller. Are you back, Ange? Mm-hmm. Is it too cold?
Yeah.
Oh.
Too cold to ride my hoverboard.
It's really freezing out. It really, really is. Okay, and notice how when I add variety to the light and dark, it adds dimension to her face. You don't need, it isn't rocket science. Like even just varying the lights and darks without knowing why is still gonna add dimension and variety to your drawing. So that's something to think about. And then I think I'm gonna lay down some tone for her hair, which will be dark. And then what I'm really holding off on that I'm so excited about is getting all these flowers into her flower crown. Wow, that's very black. Actually, her hair is not so black. It's more of a dark brown. So I'm paying attention to that. And I'm just kind of plotting it out right now. This isn't like, I'm not trying to be super specific. And I feel like her hair is wider than I'd drawn it before. So I'm drawing, I'm always kind of correcting things I've drawn before. And that's okay because it's not a test or a contest. It's just I'm drawing for the experience and the emotion and joy of drawing. For me, something I value a lot when I paint and watercolor and draw is to get the white out of the drawing itself. Like, I like the paint to feel thick. I think it's because I was sort of trained using gouache, which is very opaque. So I don't like my paint to be very sheer because I don't like my girl to look too delicate. I like her to have a really strong presence. I don't want her to feel like she has to disappear for any reason. I want her to be like earthy and just very present. So let's see, it's showing up so sheer. I'm like, if this were in real life, I'd be hoping that my colors were like darker or thicker. But I'm going with it. Just like with any medium you use, you kind of have to like bend to it a little. But see all this stuff that looks gray, I would like it to look black. I don't know if I actually chose a gray color. Hey, Ed, what's up?
Just watching.
Oh, really? Thanks. Okay, so now here's going to be the really fun part. This is going to balance the drawing out. Is that I'm going to start adding in, blocking in some of the flowers that I see. And I'm going to create these colors. So I'm going to click the plus sign so that I can literally get the colors I want. So there's this kind of thing. Sometimes I'll start with lines, but in this case I'm going to start with big blobs of watercolor. And I'm not being super specific. Again, I'm just blobbing them out. And honestly, now that I think of it, if I wanted to, I could play with different brushes. Like, let's say I wanted to see what acrylics act like. Ugh, see how opaque that is? Let me try it at less opaque. I don't think I'm crazy about that. Okay, I was testing. I was curious. Like, oh, maybe I'll use the acrylic brush. But, yeah, I don't know. The thing about the acrylic brush, quote-unquote acrylic brush, is that it's more like opaque. There's definitely a yellow going on here. Let's see. Sometimes I'm trying to work very realistically, and other times I'm more interested in catching the magic or the spirit of the thing than I am in being all like accurate about it. So I think that's definitely how I'm feeling about this one. I love using color pickers in digital drawing because it can be so much easier, especially for beginners, to get the colors you want without having to mix them all tediously, painstakingly. There's like, she's got tassels hanging off her headdress. There's one here. I'm like obsessed with tassels. They're very magical to me. And there's another tassel here, which is actually a different color, but I'm going to sketch it in anyway. And she's got little like appliques and flowers and beads on her shirt. Oh, and now that we're here, I'm also noticing / realizing, by the way, we can zoom in. Look at how natural this all is, even though it's digital. I love that. I want to give her some tone on her lip color. So the picture I'm drawing from, normally I would draw from pictures on my phone, but because I'm streaming from my phone, I'm using, I'm looking at my iCloud photo. Whoop, someone at the door? I might have to go if there's someone at the door, but maybe it's just a friend of one of my kids. So let's see. She's got this beautiful eye makeup that's very pink for Carnival.
Yeah. So, first off, what is that? It's a red thing.
Oh, that's a magnet.
Okay. Do you know about Google Ads and Google Marketing and that whole scene? You do?
Yes.
Okay, I need to learn about it. So,
Me too.
a tutorial.
And this looks like a little crazy around her eyes, but
Well, I don't know a vast amount, but I could see what I could do, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Show you what I know.
I'll say, you want to come over or you want to?
Now, yeah? You said?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, good.
Got it.
oh, I forgot that I was still using the, what do you call it? I'm still using the acrylic brush when I would rather probably be using the watercolor brush. Would have been a little softer. But it's okay. I like to roll with the punches. Like her eyes feel a little bit zombie right now, but that's a great example lesson too, because I always share this with my students that oftentimes people leave the eyes like super light. Oops, sorry. It's too big. You definitely want to add dark depth and warmth to the eyes, or she will have that zombie look, which you just saw. So adding tone's going to change that a lot. Oh my gosh, I feel like my lines are so washy today. Like I can't get enough strong blacks as I want. So what I'll probably do at the end here is get my black brush pen tool. But look at this. Look how much warmer she looks this way. But again, I'm really craving, well, part of me wants to stop. So I can do a screenshot here. This app also does time-lapse videos, but you have to set that up before you start. But like, if I press this button, I can save my image to my camera roll. But what I would really like to do is add a bunch of cool stuff to this. So I might use my brush pen. Still, I would want it to be more opaque, so I can use my slider to make it opaque. And I can also use my slider to make it skinnier. So I'm just going to undo those are what I call test swatches. And now I can come in here and just get a few really beautiful details around her eyes. So I see some lashes. I can see them in the photo. So I want to create that. And then like the crease in her eye. This other edge of her eye is almost invisible. It's not like a black line at all. And then also a lot of her eye looks pitch black to me when I look at the photo. So I think I'm gonna play with that as well. And I think there's a little bit of lashes down here. Now things look really different when you're super zoomed in. So I want to make sure I zoom out and see how that feels. There's something rather odd about it. Hi, Yaya. Strange having the free, wait, I can't see. Strange thing, the free version bugs a lot. Let's hope the pro version works as well as on your iPad. So what are some of the bugs you've had? I'd love to know. Let me know. But yeah, I haven't had the free version in a long time, and $5 seemed like a very reasonable investment, but I would be really upset if this was bugging all the time. Yeah, that's just it, guys. If you're using an app that's just frustrating the living heck out of you, that's already just any art supplies you have that are frustrating you are not gonna, that frustration is going to show up in your work. So you're always going for like ease and comfort, and you want to make your whole life like that. It closes suddenly and doesn't save before. Oh, I am so sorry. And by the way, oh man, now that I've added the dark lines, I'm starting to see a lot of things that I want to change to this drawing in order to have it be accurate. So part of me, I have to give that up. If I want to keep what I've got, then I have to let it just be like inspired by what I'm looking at rather than, oh, I feel like I made her mouth too small and I don't want to do that to her. What else? Hang on a second. There's teeth. Definitely don't want to do that to her because she has a beautiful mouth. Let's see, do you know what the pro gives as a bonus? Oh, thank you for your feedback. And before tonight, I was trying to use another app called Paper. Do you know it? Yes. Paper is the first app I ever tried to use. And once I found Tayasui, I like deleted Paper. But I do know that was a long time ago, so I think Paper has made a lot of improvements since then. But I felt like Paper had this like automatic color palette at the bottom of the page that the colors looked like super like sort of muddy and muted, and it bothered me just to look at the colors even, which was kind of weird. So Paper goes way back. Paper is literally the first app I ever tried. Hey guys, this is Tayasui Sketches. And at the beginning of the video, I look it up on the App Store. So if you catch the replay, you can watch us look it up. If you just look up the word Sketches, because some people just call it Sketches Pro now, but Tayasui, Tayasui Sketches is like the official name of it. And it's one of the ones I teach in my About Faces course, online course, which is enrolling through the end of the month, along with all my other courses. And that's what I'm kind of sponsoring today's video with, because I would love to work with some of you. In fact, once enrollment is done, once I get a group signed up, I plan to add bonuses. So that class, hun, are you sure, Yaya? Oh, on the Paper app, you can't size the brushes? Okay, because I was going to say, you can definitely size the brushes here. Yeah, I haven't used the Paper app in a long time, and the thing is, apps that don't give you what you need are going to make you feel like you can't draw, whether you've been drawing for 100 years or 5 minutes. It's going to be discouraging. It's going to be frustrating, and that's not what I want for you or me or anybody. So Tayasui is one of my absolute favorites to teach for learning on. The glitch that I have had with Tayasui is when I'm videotaping, like there is a setting in here where you can have it record your screen while you're drawing. Not as a time lapse, as many apps do, but only in real time. But I used to try to create courses with that, and it would just literally, thank you so much. Thank you, darling. Thanks for your feedback. Uh-oh, what happened? It would crash out, like it would close down in the middle of my video without saving. I know that Yaya was just talking about similar, like crashing and not saving stuff. That would only happen when I was video recording, quote unquote, only, so I had to convince myself that even though it has a video recording feature, to me, it doesn't. Like, I had to untrain myself to want that feature because it was so frustrating. Yeah. Totally, like, upsetting. So I guess everyone's got their glitches. Oh, she's got these, like, gold beads going up into her headdress. Oh, and I only gave her one eye. Not, quote, that bad. Yeah, so that's the thing, is you need trust. You need an element of safety and trust when you're creating, both in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you work with your teachers, in the way you trust your brushes, your supplies, your apps, anything. And so when that trust is broken, that can interfere with your process or your experience. So, it's almost like a very, very natural progression that you're only going to work with the places where you've felt safe. The app that you feel safe with, the apps you enjoy. 1 second. That recording crash could have been a memory storage issue. Thank you for mentioning that, Katie. Thank you so much. If you want to try using that video recording on a PC with more RAM, it might help. I've had it happen to me when I've had multiple Adobe programs open. They would all close. Katie, thank you so much. That is so true. And you know what else? My Adobe apps never crash on the iPad. Now, while we're on the subject. Whereas I feel like I didn't capture her Native American beauty. And I also just noticed that I put some kind of a stroke right across her face here. But like I said, you've got to allow yourself to have a place where you're creating without pressure. Sometimes it's just a meditation, it's an exploration, it's a feeling. Yeah, I really appreciate what you said. Like, maybe it was crashing out because my iPad was too full. The only strange thing is I should try it again, because now I have the Pro and I have the iCloud storage that I pay like $10 a month for. So it isn't so likely, right, that I would be running into the same trouble. So, like, you guys, I'm really loving this, except that I'm really bummed by how much it doesn't look just like her, the girl in the picture. I kind of really wanted to capture certain things about her, but that's okay. I'm just talking out loud. Plus, sometimes we have to notice when we're not allowing ourselves our own joy. Like, am I really going to let that bug me? Am I really going to choose to let me not love this picture because of that? Because I do have a choice, right? Choose joy or choose not choose joy. I think maybe I'll choose joy instead. Right? Isn't that why I come to the paper in the first place, right? But you can't, I know. But like, let's say I share this on social. Let's say I tag the company, I wanted it to feel like her. Now, the color looks very different right now than it did, than it does through my computers. I like the girl you're creating. Thank you. Right? So, right. So something new is being born. That's right. So there's two things I might add here. Let's try two things. One is, actually, I would like to add some more tone to her skin. But if you see, I did everything on one layer. If I had worked up here, I could have added more skin tone behind my lines. If that makes any sense to you. It may not make sense to you right away. Amen. Choose joy. That's the Course in Miracles talking in me right now. Like, excuse me, you know, these constant reminders that we have a choice to fight reality, right? Or, okay, I'm just going to play, guys. Could be scary. Okay. So this, I wanted to use like a darker tone, but this is actually like it's more of a gray dark than a brown dark, which, But what I don't like about that is that I lost my black lines. But what I can do is I can save this, I think. Let's see what happens. I can save that image. And then I think I can still undo. Let's see. Yes, I can still undo that darker tone. And I can even create a new layer to add color on so that I can add it and subtract it. One last thing I'm going to do, because I do have to go out soon. Maybe I'll come back to this later. But I don't know if you noticed in the original photo, the background was red. So I could play with that. Let me get my opacity up. Let me bring my size down a little. And I don't have to use watercolor either. I could use a different brush or medium. But oops, I could play with, how do I do this? I want to make my tools disappear. See that? Now they're not in my way. And I could play with doing the red thing. It's an interesting way the light is hitting her face in the picture. Like I'm torn between like really going in to capture that or whether to just keep this light and easy. Thanks for showing us to watch the process. It makes me want to try. Yeah, you made my day, because that's what I wanted. I want you to feel empowered and like freed up and fired up. And believe me, you know, the real point is the experience, is the whole point, is just to have an experience. A pleasurable, joyful, beautiful experience. If you look in my stories today, I just shared a quote I saw somewhere where they're like, the point of this is, one big point is to be a stress reliever. So in order for it to be a stress reliever is to, you know, what's the expectation and intention you bring to coming here? It's exploring, it's beauty, it's play, it's joy, you know. Oh, there's my fave artist girl. Hey, Karen. Yes, definitely loving this tutorial. Thank you. Let us know when you have sessions for us to purchase. So thank you for asking, Katie Beth, because in my bio right now, the About Faces, I forget whether I have it listed as About Faces or whether it says Digital Fashion Illustration course, but both of those are the same course. And what was my point? My point was it teaches 3 apps, Adobe Draw, Adobe Sketch. Now, you don't need to have Creative Suite to learn any of those. They're $5 apps just like this. All you need is to create an Adobe ID to use them, but it's a free ID. And each of these apps is very different in its character. By the way, guys, look what happens. I can make this disappear. The separate layer. And that course is a lifetime access course. And you can also post any questions or share your art in there. So we're building community, and we're drawing together and supporting one another. And the enrollment for that class is open through the end of January. And then I'm closing up all my enrollments because I'm going to get down to work with everybody and not burn myself out with too much marketing while I'd rather mostly be teaching. Hopefully that's all going to... I forgot that I was one person. So mom, teacher, course creator, you know how we are, right? We put on so many hats, but you can only put on so many hats. So I want to emphasize these, let me make sure this is opaque. So I can make these beads kind of shiny on her. Oh, I want to make them bigger though, if they're going to show up. She has like gold beads on her carnival headdress. And usually, hopefully this is going to work out, even with all my extra jobs, that I'm going to have time to keep, Karen, how are you? Keep doing the carnival illustrations all through this month, because for the past few years, that's what I've been doing on Instagram every, what do you call it? Every January. I escape winter by going to Brazil on my Instagram and in my art, celebrating all the costumes from the street carnivals, more so than like the big fancy carnival, but more the carnivals of the people, where people come together and play and create. Oh my gosh, I just love all the nature of it and the goddess feeling of it, and the people looking so happy and free and making music and dancing in the street, and women coming together and playing and being magical. All that. So there's lots of glitter going on here. And these tassels have a bunch of different colors in them. I think I'm probably going to come back to that stuff. But, oh, the last thing I wanted to add, and I'm telling you, I usually end up liking my drawings best before they're done. And then after they're done, I'm like, oh, I should have stopped. I use a chisel-tipped marker on some of these leaves because I said so. And let me just make them a little bit less opaque. Almost done, Angie, I promise.
Okay.
Should we have some kind of dinner before we go to work?
Well, I guess. Depending on what time you finish. Because I want to get there around, like, I want to get there at 5:30.
By the way, guys, this headdress, really, Ange? I don't know that I want to get there that early, but I'll think about it.
Only because I want to set up the classrooms.
Like you did last time. This headdress, the worst part that's missing is that not only does it have all these flowers, but there's literally a bird at the top. And see, watch this. I can't, hang on. When I go like this, I can't draw up here. But like Adobe Draw app, you can draw up and out and beyond. And I love that. But this app, you really, really can't. So I'm just going to add some more black to sharpen up some of the depths of this. And then I'm going to wrap it up and do more soon. DM me if you have any questions about any of the courses, because all the courses are open through the end of the month. And if you have any questions about Carnival, if you have any questions about courses you don't see that you're interested in, and even my private coaching is now including creative life coaching, so we can work through things on dance, on parenting, on homeschooling, on drawing, literally like anything you wanted to create that you felt like you couldn't, and kind of working through limiting beliefs around what you can create in your life. If there's something you want to create, you're really called to, but something in you just doesn't think that it's possible. I love to work with clients on making those dreams realities. It really helps to work with someone, and I know that because I've worked with people. So, thanks, guys. I'm going to wave and say hi and bye because, and
That
here's my
drawing
photo.
looks awesome.
Thanks, Angie. And you know, I might try it again because, wow. There are some things that I wanted to capture that I didn't, but there's all things I wanted to capture that I did.
Wait.
What? That's better. Don't forget to sign up for About Face's digital fashion illustration course. Bye.